I would like to call to order the regular City Council meeting of January 26, 2026. Would you please all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Marcella, can we get roll call, please?
Councilmember Condi.
Here.
Councilmember Garcia.
Here.
Councilmember Solario.
Here.
Councilmember Weiss.
Here.
Councilmember White.
Present.
Vice Mayor Nielsen.
Here.
Mayor Pineda.
Here. Thank you so much. Ron, next item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. First, we have a presentation by Adonna Gardner, our Youth and Community Engagement Manager, to recognize some very exceptional students here in the city of Avondale.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the Council. I am here to present the Exceptional Student of Avondale nominations. This is a fun and wonderful initiative to recognize the amazing things that students are doing in our community. I am honored to be presenting these recognitions on behalf of administrators, principals, educators, and nominators from the school districts. The achievements being recognized may be academic, extracurricular, or personal, and highlight the impact that students have made for themselves, their family, school, or community. Students, as I call your name, please walk up to receive your award and stay standing for the remainder of the presentation. After the completion of all presentations, you will be invited to take photos with Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. I have Stacy Ariano, Neighborhood and Community Services Coordinator, here with me this evening to assist with presenting the certificates and the medals. First up is within the Agua Fria High School District and attends Agua Fria High School. Frankie Olivias is in 12th grade. Frankie has presented himself with increased confidence, responsibility, and self-awareness in the recent school year. He interacts with peers and staff in a respectful, thoughtful, and positive manner. His progress is not only evident in the classroom, but in the way that he contributes to a positive school environment. He serves as an example of how dedication and support can lead to meaningful growth and success. The following student is within the Avondale Elementary School District and attends Laddie Core. Anaya Salcido is in 1st grade. She shows up to school every day with a bright smile and shows a genuine love for being part of her school community. She consistently takes pride in being responsible and dependent, whether that's inside the classroom or during school activities. Her willingness to support others positively impacts the learning environment and encourages her peers to do the same. Next is within the Litchfield Elementary School District and attends Corte Sierra Elementary. Declan Blades is in 2nd grade. Declan consistently goes above and beyond in everything he does. He follows all the school rules and takes pride in doing the right thing, often encouraging his classmates to do the same. He is genuinely kind and patient with others and is always willing to help and support his peers. Declan is a wonderful role model and embodies the values of our community every single day. Next is within the Pendergast Elementary School District and attends Garden Lakes Elementary School. Allison Cook. Allison is an 8th grader. She is an exceptionally talented artist who reflects deep thinking, creativity, and remarkable attention to detail in all of her work. Her dedication has earned her a membership in the National Junior Honor Society for the past 2 years, and has also participated in the Arizona State University prep courses and selection for the Pendergast Enrichment Program for the gifted and talented students. Allison is a well-rounded leader who positively impacts her school and community. Next is within the Tolleson Union High School District and attends Westview High School. Emily Dang. Emily is a 12th grader. Emily was recently accepted into Brown University, where she will pursue a future in molecular biotechnology, aiming for a career in the biotechnology industry, where she hopes to contribute to clinical research. Emily has engaged in a variety of extracurricular activities. She participates as a member of the Health Occupation Students of America. She plays JV tennis. She co-founded a robotics club and contributed to the Arizona State University Trio Talent Search and National Honor Society. Emily's commitment to service extends into the community, where she volunteers at Rio Vista Elementary through the Read Better, Be Better program, tutored at Garden Lakes Elementary, and supported the Phoenix Children's Museum. Through these roles, she has demonstrated empathy and a willingness to support those around her. Congratulations to all of the students that have been nominated for the Exceptional Student of Avondale nominations. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, thank you so much for your support with this program.
Thank you so much, Donna, and congratulations to all of you who have earned the Exceptional Student Award from your school district. I know it takes a lot of hard work and, more importantly, dedication. There's so many other things that you could be focused on, and yet all the great things that I've heard so far, read about each one of you, is just not only impressive, but I know at your ages, all of your ages, I know that I wasn't doing a lot of those different things. So are there any members of council that wish to share any words? If not, yeah, just a huge congratulations to you. And if you wouldn't mind sticking around, as well as parents, I know we're going to do a couple of photos here after this. So stick around and allow us to be honored to take a picture with all of you exceptional students. So congratulations again. Ron, next item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Oh, we have another presentation by Donna. She is going to recognize some of Avondale's high schools who received a letter grade A achievement.
Good evening again, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Tonight we recognize two Avondale schools in the Tolleson Union High School District, La Jolla Community High School and West Point High School, for recently receiving an A letter grade from the Arizona State Board of Education. I have our Director of Neighborhood and Family Services, Chris Lopez, here with me to assist with handing out the plaques. This annual evaluation looks at several factors, including year-to-year student academic growth, proficiency in English language, arts, math, and science, the progress of English language learners, readiness for high school, college, and careers, and graduation rates. At this time, I would like to welcome school administration from La Jolla Community High School and West Point High School to the podium to accept the plaque of recognition.
No, you may
When
not want
all
to
present,
we may not want them to sit down. I didn't know if council wanted to say anything to them before they left the
Well, I
podium.
wasn't sure if they wanted to say a few words as well. I mean, they're just used to accepting awards. They just grab them and go off to the next one. No, what I know that, you know, this is something that has it's taken some time to get to the A. And so what I would love to know is just kind of some of the things that you've done with the schools, each one of the campuses, to transform it to where it's become today with getting the letter A. So if you just want to briefly touch on that, love to hear it. I mean, you guys are the ones helping to do the hard work, so might as well brag about it for a little bit.
Thank you, Mayor Pineda, Vice Mayor Nielsen, council members, and staff. My name is Brandy Haskins. I'm the very proud principal at West Point High School. I had the honor to open West Point High School 7 years ago, and 2 years ago we received our first A rating from the state. I will tell you that first and foremost, it is the work of the hard work of teachers on campus every single day with our students. They have high expectations for students, and they work very hard with students to make sure that they live up to those expectations and have all the supports that they need, including graduating ready for college and career with many scholarships and opportunities in front of them. So, but really the success is the teachers and the students and the hard work that they do.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Bill Sorensen, grateful principal of La Jolla Community High School. And I attribute this to amazing teachers that are focusing on student learning over their teaching. Because just because we taught it doesn't mean they learned it. So focusing and guaranteeing that our students learn at high levels is the key to us being an A, and all the support from our community, students, families, educators, classified staff, because high school is like a city. It never stops, and it takes a whole lot of people and a whole lot of work. So this is for La Jolla Community High School, not for Bill Sorensen, so I'd love to have some other people speak, but I am here, and I graciously accept this on behalf of La Jolla Community High School, and to stand here next to a legend like Brandy Haskins makes it all worth it.
Well, congratulations. I know that we kind of skipped through council, but is there any members of council that wish to share a couple words? Councilmember Solorio?
Thank you to the high schools that are here. Having 2 years ago, having served on a community partnership for an elementary school, getting an A and what that involved in, I firsthand saw that it is very much the teachers and the learning that they provide for their students, but it is also the parents who choose to bring their children to school every day, who choose to be a part of the extracurricular things to keep them involved. And it is such a stringent process to see that, because we were able to meet with the folks that give those grades and do that. So thank you to everyone. And it is a community effort. So thank you. Even though you don't have kids that are in school, it does matter. The community shapes kids.
Thank you so much. Councilmember White?
Thank you so much, Mayor Pineda. Thank you so much for the presentation. And I just want to thank the schools. It's like the Avondale Boulevard corridor, and we appreciate that whether you're north or south, that you're going to get a fine education. But I think I have to give a special shout out to West Point. I want to highlight this public-private partnership proxy that they have with Luke Air Force Base and JAG, and how they have a leadership academy on campus, and how they have, odd things like I did, like archery, and they make kids feel okay when they take it. I think that to have had 2 children matriculate, one it's in that school, and one has now gone on to ASU as an artist and has fully expressed himself and is doing well as a small business owner. So thank you for what you pour into our children. You said 2 years ago. Does that mean this is your second or third? This is the second one in a row. In La Jolla, this is the first time at bat, but you've been here so long and such an enriching organization. Tellison Union High School, thank you so much for your commitment to our community, and thank you for serving our children and making sure they feel good about going to school every day. I know it's the teachers, the administrators, the parents, but these kids care, and thank you for making them be inspired to do so.
Thank you so much, Councilmember White. Donna, thanks again for the presentation. And again, just a huge congratulations to both high schools for the accomplishment of earning the A. I know it's not an easy job or easy transformation, so great job.
Thank you, Mayor. So when all presentations conclude, each school will be invited to take photos with Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Will you please join me in recognizing again these 2 wonderful schools for their outstanding achievement?
Ron, next item, please.
But wait, Mayor, there's more. We'll keep going with Neighborhood and Family Services recognizing members of our community. So we have Stacy, our Neighborhood and Family Services Coordinator, who's going to present our Holiday School Spirit Food Drive Awards presentations, and we get to finally learn what those trophies are all about.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Stacy Arellano, Neighborhood and Family Services Coordinator. It has been a pleasure coordinating the 2025 School Spirit Food Drive, and I am honored to be here this evening to recognize the amazing efforts of the participating schools. I want to express my gratitude to all those attending this evening and their involvement in our 18th Annual School Spirit Food Drive. Since 2008, the Neighborhood and Family Services Department has collaborated with Avondale schools to address the increasing demand faced by food banks to support families within our community. We are pleased to have the Avondale Youth Advisory Commission with us tonight, who actively participate by encouraging engagement and advocating for resources in our community. To assist in distributing the trophies, we have Youth Commission Chair Hannah Molina and Vice Chair Lina Bastidos. The 2025 food drive ran from November 3rd to December 5th and included 10 participating schools. We are incredibly thankful for their participation, as the food collected will benefit the residents of Avondale. Listed here are those who participated in the food drive. We greatly appreciate their partnership in the yearly event our department coordinates. We've received feedback from many schools expressing their enjoyment in being part of the initiative. Last year, we collected 6,040 pounds, which is equivalent to 5,033 meals. I'm excited to announce that this year, that number has increased. This year, we gathered 8,085 pounds, which is equivalent to 6,737 meals. Through the involvement of Avondale schools hosting the drives and spreading awareness is that we were able to achieve the 2025 year's goal. Each contribution, no matter the size, plays a vital role in supporting those in need and ensuring that everyone has food on their table. As I call your name, please send a representative to the podium to receive your participation plaque and placement trophies. At the end of the presentations this evening, your schools will be invited to take photos with Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. I will now be presenting awards to the participating schools. Agua Fria High School. Cortes Sierra Elementary School. Estrella High School. Estrella Vista STEM Academy. Imagine Schools Avondale. Rancho Santa Fe Elementary School. Westview High School. We will now be recognizing the top 3 contributing schools. In third place, West Point High School, who collected 1,000. who collected 1,420 pounds, equivalent to 1,183 meals. In second place, we have Avondale Middle School, who collected 1,475 pounds, equivalent to 1,229 meals. And finally, in first place, Legacy Traditional School, who collected 2,004 pounds, equivalent to 1,670 meals. Thank you again to all the participating schools who have made a difference in the Avondale community. This wouldn't be possible without you. It was a pleasure to coordinate the food drive and be here tonight to recognize you all. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, thank you for your support with the 2025 food drive. This concludes my presentation for this evening.
Thank you so much, Stacy, for the presentation. Thank you to all of the districts who are here, all of the families that participated, and the communities that helped them get to the success that we just were able to witness. And thank you to the Avondale Youth Commission, who are helping. And congrats, and thank you for being here in such full force tonight. Any members of council wish to say a few words? Okay, Councilmember Garcia.
I just want to say how awesome that is. I know that this was an issue last year, and as community leaders, we met, and the thing that they said was, it's not that we didn't have enough food, we didn't have enough people to pass out food, but you guys are the leaders in the community doing the work. So thank you guys all so much for what you do. Because of you guys, people were able to receive food and get that, what they needed when they needed it. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, Councilmember. Any others? Councilmember White.
Thank you so much, Stacy, Donna, Mariella, Chris, Edith, all the work that you all do in Neighborhood and Family Services, showing the leadership to our children. I think that setting an example as a job is a little different, and you do an amazing job every day. I really appreciate that, and appreciate that Dale gives you guys the flexibility to do that. The services that we provide to the community, when I look at this amount of food and how many mouths were fed, you not only met the need for what the big NFS does, but you engage the children, and we're passing this on to the next generation, to the leaders of AYAC. We've spent a lot of time together. I'm very proud of the work that you all are doing in the community and encouraging your peers at school. You are always on point, and I think you all see me more than enough to take me seriously when you have to, but they have a good time doing it. So to be able to watch the children do the work and grow up over time here in Avondale, I'm so proud to see your future success, and I can't wait till I'm watching you all up here. So thank you very much. I appreciate all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again. Ron, next item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Up next, Adam Shipley, our Business Development Manager, to present a new program, our Avondale Business Spotlight Program Award.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council members. If I could just have, yes, come stand with me, Orlando Chavez and Yolanda Chavez. All right, so first I would like to introduce the Avondale Business Spotlight Program. So guided by City Council's vision, the Avondale Economic Development Department has created the Avondale Business Spotlight Program to formally recognize business owners and operators who have had a meaningful impact in our community. This is for those entrepreneurs that go above and beyond their day-to-day operations by generously donating their time, talent, and resources to Avondale. We will be seeking out and accepting nominations for from the Avondale community for consideration of future awards, and our team will also be out in the community interacting with local business owners, looking for ways to honor them through this award. The award will be given out quarterly and presented at a city council meeting, and the winner will be provided with a certificate, recognition on social media, recognition on the Avondale Economic Development website, and the Rave Review publication. Now, for this evening, the story of our first recipient begins in late 2025 with a sudden and unexpected closure of a long-standing Phoenix bakery that left dozens of community members without their prepaid wedding cakes or any hope of a refund. For soon-to-be brides and grooms, this was more than just a financial loss. It was a source of significant stress just days before their major life milestone. So Orlando Chavez, the co-owner of Panderia La Central, saw the news of the shuttered bakery and decided that him and Yolanda, the co-owner, his wife, and a cake baker of more than 30 years needed to do something. So they stepped in and they provided free custom wedding cakes to affected couples completely free of charge that were affected by this Phoenix bakery closure. Yolanda and Orlando acted from the heart to ensure that these families could celebrate their weddings without a shadow of disappointment. And the generosity of Panaderia La Central didn't just provide dessert, it fostered a special bond between community members who met and found inspiration in each other through this act of kindness, working together to design their new wedding cakes. This local leadership even inspired a wave of generosity across the valley, with other valley bakeries offering discounts to help other affected couples throughout the valley. Panaderia La Central represents the very best of Avondale's small business community, proving that our local entrepreneurs step up to bridge the gap and support our neighbors. Thank you to Yolanda and Orlando Chavez, who use their skills as a tool for doing good, as we now recognize you with the inaugural Avondale Business Spotlight Award.
So if you wouldn't mind, Yolanda or Orlando, one of you would like to say a few words, and I'm sure the spotlight is not what you're looking for, but as we heard earlier, it's your time to brag. I mean, what you did for the community, more importantly, what you did from one small business to another, and how you assisted all of those families in need. I think it's okay to share your story, but whatever you feel comfortable with sharing.
Well, we appreciate the recognition you guys giving us and looking at for us, Mayor Mike and Council Gloria and the whole council member staff. I guess we just started with the quick news that we saw, and we have the feeling, we've always had that feeling that when people come with these special events, it's not easy to just tell other ones, there's nothing for you guys. So we just had to step up and, just give them that, because since we know that we've been in business since 2007, and that's how we decided to do that recognition to those couple wedding ladies. So, but we'll always be here. We'll always try to be here. Thank you, guys. Thank you, the community, having the community, and for all the support that we've had in the past few years. So.
Well, I just would love to see the community come out, continue to support you. I know I've been there many a times to have different meetings, sitting on the patio, just enjoying. And by the way, if you don't know, they're just off Central, south of St. John Vianney Church, and in the strip mall just north of Sonic. I'm sure everybody knows that area. But please, this is what they do for the community. And in turn, if the community could step out, just continue to support them, that would be a huge benefit. And so congratulations on your inaugural award. Sets the tone for all the awards that will come after. But just thank you so much for what you did. Being a small business owner is not easy, let alone, and you have your own issues to face, let alone helping others with theirs. And so just a huge congratulations. Members of council, Councilmember Solorio.
Congratulations. It truly is an honor, my honor, and all of us here to have you in our council quarters, because, we often hear those stories that happen and we might not have a connection to them, but this is something that struck to me because, pan dulce is everyone's favorite, at least mine anyway, and I go quite often when you guys do the conchas that are rellenas. So when I heard this, I was like, this is our hometown, and these are folks that are stepping in at a pivotal time where, I've worked in the business of planning weddings before, and you're at that pivotal step where you've picked out your wedding cake and you're kind of past that and you're getting ready for your wedding, and then that happens. And for you guys to step up and really just show what giving of your heart and in the community is just incredible. So thank you. May you be blessed with so much business. And folks, go out and get your pan dulce because they have it. They also have great breakfast, and they do it all. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Garcia?
Everyone knows I love food, and I have eaten at every restaurant in Avondale, and yours is not an exception. I have been getting birthday cakes from you guys for years, but I just wanted to tell a story because during the Billy Moore days, I was getting breakfast, and it was so packed I had to leave, and you didn't have to do this, but you ran after me after my meal was done, and you brought me my meal. That's the kind of heart and the kind of people that you guys are, and what you guys do for the community is wonderful. Like, you didn't have to do that, but it was so nice that you did because I was with me and my son. But please go support them. They have tres leche cakes, they have pan dulce, they have really good breakfast, and they have really good coffee too. So, supporting our small businesses in Avondale is one of the pivotal reasons why we are here. Is you guys are what makes the community. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations. Okay, if you wouldn't mind joining me down below, it's picture time. So we'll head down there and take some pictures, take some photos. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to item number 3, unscheduled public appearances. Marcella, I do have one blue card. Are there any other requests to speak?
Thank you, Mayor. That's correct. I've only received one request to speak from Adrian Alamanza.
Got it. Okay, Adrian, would you like to come up, please?
Hello, City Council. My name is Adrian Almanza, as what she said, and I'm currently a junior at Agua Fria High School. And I do want to address to you, City Council, today about the issue that many students like myself who walk and also students who drive to school face on 530 East Riley Drive. So you're probably wondering, what's the issue going on? So I do want to address how the lack of crosswalks around Agua Fria. So there's right now currently on 530 East Riley Drive 2 usable crosswalk. So you probably mean, what do you mean usable? Sorry. There's only one crosswalk near the student parking, which of course many students use to get near the front entrance to the cafeteria, or the new cafeteria actually, which is of course very usable. And the second one is of course between the intersection of Dysart and 530 East and East Riley Drive, which of course many students use from, I'm pretty sure, past the railway to go, of course, enter the school from that route. And from what I've seen, because I, of course, walked to school, the crosswalks over there are, of course, fading dramatically due to, of course, many traffic driving and all of that. And I just want to focus on like how all that could definitely lead to potential accidents in the future. And I also want to address one more crosswalk that I use all the time. And so this crosswalk actually just leads to the front office. So it doesn't even lead to a ramp to the sidewalk. It just leads immediately to the front office, resulting in potential risk for students like myself who walk every day to even get hit from people who are potentially distracted trying to enter the front office. And another issue I want to address is, of course, speeding. Many drivers, student drivers specifically, speed on 530 East Riley Drive, which I wish speeding could just end today, but unfortunately that's not how life works, unfortunately. And so that's one of the issues that I want to point out. And another issue is, of course, drivers stopping on the side of 530 East Riley Drive. So many drivers, of course, don't want to take the parent loop, which is, of course, on the road on 530. And so instead, they decided to use the other option is to instead park their car on the side and immediately dropping off, not potentially, but resulting in traffic, especially before and most importantly after school, which we've seen very like a grid lockup basically. And I know like we can't necessarily fix it right now, but I do want to address how like this grid lockup is also one of the main problems of like students just walking in front of cars. So as I got picked up by my parents not too long ago, and my mom actually almost hit a student, which is kind of worrying how just students just walk on 530 East Riley Drive to immediately just go on the other side, which, I mean, it's understandably so, but again, with the lack of crosswalks on there, we could potentially have future risk of student safety and drivers accidentally hitting a student.
Adrian, thank you for being here tonight. I believe that you've already been in contact with Kim,
yes,
and that those conversations are ongoing. So thank you for bringing it to our attention. And if you will continue to speak with Kim and city management, we can see how to move forward with that.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is consent agenda. Are there any council members who wish to have an item pulled for separate consideration? Councilmember White.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to have item 4A pulled for separate consideration, please.
Okay, item 4A. Can we, at this point, get a motion for all items outside of 4A? Got a motion from Councilmember White, a second from Councilmember Solorio. Please vote. Okay, thank you, Council. Item passes 7-0. Okay, item 4A. Councilmember White.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I was just, I had a few questions that I wanted to get some clarification from the clerk's office. More specifically, the portion B, which authorizes staff to add issues to the ballot as directed by council or by appropriate administrative action. I'm not sure if this is more of a legal question or something that the clerk can share with us, what type of consideration is required to have something added to the primary or November ballot. Do we have any time frames? Are study sessions required? Can you add some more color to this content?
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. That language is directing me to add a referendum, recall, or initiative to the ballot if those petitions were to be filed with the city clerk's office.
So, Mayor, I think I believe we also had a few bond issues last year. We had a bond committee that we were able to bring together. Mayor, is this the type of time where if item B add issues to the ballot as directed by council, since we've already had a bond committee kind of wash through, but one of those issues didn't pass, is that something that we could possibly request to have put back on the ballot?
Well, based upon what I've been told, I know that I've asked the same question to our city attorney regarding the next time that specifically a bond issue can be brought back on. And I know that there were some discussions that were going to be taking place first. So are we still at that point?
Mayor, Councilmember White, Council. So this, yes, there's still additional work I think that we would need to do to put that back on the ballot. And then similar to what we did in the past, we would come to you and have you authorize that at a council meeting. So this language, my opinion, it doesn't allow us just to go ahead and move forward with the bond. We would have to come back to you and have you call the election for that, just like we did previously.
Okay.
And Mayor, do you recall, sir, how much time in advance of the election we called for that to be on the ballot last year?
I do not recall. Marcella, can you help me with that?
Thank you. It was around April timeframe. So right now we would be well behind of schedule if we wanted it to move forward to 2026.
Okay.
And then, Mayor, I know that if there's any concerns that we have with the existing charter, we would have to go back out to the public with those questions as well. Is that a conversation where we would need to gather like a committee that we had for the bond, or is charter questions something that is reviewed by council?
I believe it would be a committee, correct?
Yes, Mayor, Councilmember White. It's something that staff could initiate, but we, depending on how you want to do it, probably similar to the bond, we would have a committee get together, look at our charter. They would work with Ron's office, my office, to present suggested charter amendments, discuss them with you, and then, move forward on how we wanted to do any charter amendments. But those would need to go to the voters, yes.
The reason I was thinking about that, Mayor, is because when we take a look at some of the language in the charter, I think some of the guidance that we have in the document, it seems a bit archaic. And even when I think about how it impacts us as council members, I think there might be an opportunity for review. So I think that I do want to move forward with item A, but I wanted to be able to move to a study session at some point in the future where we can understand how to have that additional charter review. And I'm not sure if this is the right time to talk about it, because those are things that do have to have elections. So I just wanted to make sure we pulled this item to talk about the importance of us looking at how to go through the process of reviewing the charter, go through the process of getting that bond back on there. And if it's not something that can show up on the primary election ballot, I know that there's still the November ballot that is an opportunity. So I just wanted to call those out, because those are issues that I think the last bond is low-hanging fruit. We already had that, really well-defined, and might be an opportunity for us to take a quicker look than we did last time.
I can assure you that as the election occurred and the vote was finalized, that I was quickly in communication with leadership to share the same sentiment that I believe that we should take another opportunity to go out for that bond again, and which is why I asked the question of how soon can we do this. And so as soon as we get more information on that, I'd be happy to share. I'm sure that the committee can be formed so that we can get something of that magnitude back on the ballot. So, okay.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you so much, Marcella.
Okay, can I get a motion for consent agenda item A, 4A? Got a motion from Councilmember White, a second from Councilmember Weiss. Can you please vote? Okay, items passes 7-0. Thank you so much. Ron, item number 5, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Up next, we have a presentation by Monica, our senior planner, to present a zoning ordinance text amendment.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council members. I am Monica Smriti, Senior Planner. I am presenting the agenda item 5A, Zoning Ordinance Text Amendment for City Center District Removal, Application PL-25-0291. The purpose of this presentation is to review the proposed city-initiated zoning ordinance text amendment, conduct a public hearing, and take appropriate action. So before we discuss the proposed text amendment in detail, I would like to briefly walk you through the history of the city center zoning district. The city center zoning district was added to the zoning ordinance in 2009. Over time, more than 250 acres were rezoned to city center district, shown in blue on this graphic. In September 2019, the City Council adopted the Boulevard Zoning District with the goal of creating a vibrant urban core and ultimately replacing the City Center District. With this action, the Boulevard Zoning District boundary was established. The boundary is shown here in purple on this graphic. Because participation in the Boulevard was voluntary, approximately 79 acres initially still remained under city center zoning district that you can see here in blue on this graphic. In August 2022, the southern portion of the remaining city center district was rezoned to plan area development for Fuse 623. And in November 2025, the final parcel with the city center district zoning designation was also rezoned to a plan area development for Avondale Tech Center. These actions triggered the requirements of Section 28-91K, which requires the city center district to be removed from the zoning ordinance once no properties remain within the district. As a result, subsection K, which contains the city center district land uses and development standards, would be deleted as part of the proposed text amendment. The amendment would also remove all remaining references to the city center district throughout the ordinance and replace them with references to the boulevard wherever applicable. Staff finds that the proposed text amendment is necessary to ensure compliance with the zoning ordinance and improve its usability and enhance customer service. The project has met all public notice requirements. To date, no public comments have been received by the staff. The Planning Commission meeting and public hearing was held on December 17, 2025. No discussion took place during the hearing. The Commission unanimously voted 6-0 to recommend approval to the City Council. With that, staff is recommending motion to adopt Ordinance 2002-0126, approving application PL-25-0291. a request for the text amendment to the City of Avondale zoning ordinance for the reasons set forth in the staff report, and authorize the mayor and city manager, city attorney, and city clerk to execute the necessary documents. Thank you for your time and consideration. Staff is happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you so much for the presentation. At this time, I would like to open up the public hearing. Marcella, have we received any requests to speak on this item?
Thank you, Mayor. We have not received any requests to speak.
Okay, then at this time, I will close the public hearing. And okay, item passes 7-0. Thank you so much. Ron, next item, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Up next, we have a presentation by Andy, your Human Resources Director, presenting the MOU between the City of Avondale and the Avondale Professional Firefighters Association, Local 3924.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council members. The item before you tonight is a recommendation to approve the fiscal year 2027-2028 Memorandum of Understanding between the City of Avondale and the Avondale Professional Firefighters Association, Local 3924. And joining me tonight is Kaylin Smith, APFFA President. So I'm sure you can imagine the effort it takes to get the MOU across the finish line is significant. Therefore, we want to take this opportunity to recognize a number of key individuals who are instrumental throughout this process. First, we want to acknowledge Council for your leadership and support. We also want to acknowledge our firefighters who are here tonight, along with their families who provide unwavering support for them through their career in public safety and supporting the Avondale community. Second, we want to acknowledge our negotiations team. So on the city management side, we had Tracy Stevens, our Assistant City Manager, Renee Weatherless, our Finance and Budget Director, Justin Ernst, our Assistant Fire Chief, Jeff Sheets, our IT Director, and myself. And on the APFFA side, we had Kaylin Smith, President, Eric Folger, Vice President, Jen Bessie, Fire Captain, Brendan Weiss on the Executive Board, and Brent Arnold also representing the Executive Board. Additionally, while he's not in attendance tonight, we want to give a special shout out to Torin Sato. So he has been an amazing addition to the team. He has a great skill set that served not only with this recent negotiation process, but also years prior. He keeps the group on track and has a tremendous organizational and technical skills to really pull everything together and get us to where we are tonight. We also want to recognize the support by the City Manager's Office and Chief Rooney. And lastly, our City Attorney's Office also behind the scenes plays a very important role in evaluating the proposed changes and providing technical support and getting the MOU finalized. So we want to make sure to recognize that group as well. So I think it's safe to say that the City and APFFA negotiation teams began preparing months in advance. However, formal negotiation meetings began weekly in early September and continue through early November. As we evaluated requests, both on the city management side as well as APFFA side, they were considered through a lens based on the following guiding principles. So to strengthen the partnership between the city and the association, ensure that we remain competitive in recruiting and retaining firefighters, and continue to provide the highest level of service to our community. So the proposed agreement before council tonight reincorporates the existing MOU language. It introduces revised and new MOU language, and the term of the agreement is July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2026. I'm going to evaluate present some key revisions this evening, and those are the ones that are substantive in nature and do not include general language clarity or just general contract cleanup items. So as we go down this path, so Section 1.3, nepotism policy. So the proposed amendment expands and clarifies allowable temporary assignments involving immediate family members, including battalion chief exceptions and operational flexibility. So to give some context, the current MOU language does not allow for an immediate family member to work under the direction or supervision of another family member. So this issue's presented challenges in the context of mandatory overtime rotation. So if an immediate family member was next on the mandatory overtime schedule and available, they would be passed over due to policy restrictions, and another employee was contacted to work the shift. So with this particular change, it was really prevalent at the battalion chief and captain ranks. So with this change, there are instances where a battalion chief can supervise an immediate family member during a temporary overtime shift, so long as they do not work on the same apparatus. So they're not assigned to the same, whether it's a battalion safety officer or on a truck, on one of the fire trucks. It's not something that they would be working together in that capacity, but they might be on the same shift overall. For that time within the city. Section 4.1, base rate of pay. The language modification here allows members on promotional probation who are meeting expectations to be eligible for a one-step merit increase on the same schedule as other represented employees. So this was something that we implemented last year across the city. Essentially, if we had a promoted employee in the past, they would have to wait until that probationary period was completed in order to receive their merit increase. With this change and what we've done previously, we've given them that increase on the same schedule as other employees, so long as they were meeting expectations. So we're just making sure that there's consistency across how our firefighters are being handled, as well as other members of city staff. Additionally, we updated the wage table to support market competitiveness. So the next slide here just shows a breakdown of the different step plans that were being presented by the negotiation team for firefighters, fire engineers, and fire captains. So overall, it's a 6.5% increase when compared to the current wage table for this group. And just a reminder that the wages included in the table are based on a 56-hour schedule, which equates to 2,912 hours per year. Our next key revision is Section 4.3 for specialty pay. We've evaluated paramedics and bilingual pay, and those have remained the same because we're still determined to be market competitive. But we are proposing to increase technical rescue pay from $1.10 an hour to $1.50 per hour in order to ensure that we're competitive with other comparators throughout the valley. Section 4.5, overtime and premium pay. So 2.1 incentive premium pay for approved special assignments was implemented as a pilot program for the current contract to give time to evaluate and assess. The proposed revisions essentially keep the same program in place, but remove the pilot reference. So this is something that would be ongoing. We're still maintaining an annual cap of 2,000 hours per fiscal year. Move-up pay, so to give just a little context, firefighters eligible to be placed in what's referenced to as move-up status once they've completed the necessary training requirements associated with a higher rank to temporarily fill a vacant assignment. So currently, in order to, once you've met that requirement, and if there's a move-up assignment for a shift available, they would have to work at least 12 hours in that role in order to trigger any move-up pay associated with that temporary assignment. When we looked at our market comparators throughout the valley, we found that we needed to make some adjustments or to propose some adjustments. Some are allowing for full pay anytime that they work in that move-up capacity, but we felt it was appropriate to recommend at least a 15-minute time frame of working at that higher level in order to qualify for that move-up pay. So that's what's being proposed currently with this revision. Section 4.8, 56 to 40-hour position pay and leave accruals. We've implemented a formal conversion formula for leave accruals when moving between 56 and 40-hour assignments. So this is a mutual win for both the city and members as it helps streamline, lessen confusion, and reduce the administrative burden that currently exists when members move between 56-hour and 40-hour assignments, given the differing accruals and rates that exist between those two assignments. Section 4.10, market analysis and resemblance pay. So we implemented a structured market survey process for fiscal year 2028. We defined comparator cities and established wage adjustment strategy tied to market results in order to propose any salary changes for the next fiscal year or year two of the contract. Section 8.8, deferred compensation plans. Proposing to increase the city contribution to 457 accounts from $50 to $100 per pay period, contingent upon an ongoing $50 per pay period employee contribution for members covered by the MOU. Post-retirement health plan. So we implemented some cleanup language and some additional benefits here. So we enhanced the program language. There's some ambiguity between the MOU language and other elements. So if we had another 457 program or even a 401A program that a member might be enrolled in, and they're diverting their sick or vacation accruals at the time of retirement, it conflicted with some of the language in our MOU. So we proposed some cleanup language for that. And then we also enhanced clarity around the premium only and universal PEP plans. So just a quick overview, premium only is currently what our members are funding with their own pay, their own wages. So currently there's 1.5% contribution made by current members, a mandatory contribution from their gross pay that goes into a premium only post-employment health plan. And what that money is available for is any future healthcare premiums that they would pay for or need to pay for post-retirement. So that's a very targeted and specific way that those funds can be used, and it's primarily, or it's fully self-funded by the employee. The universal plan is a little more flexible. Those plans have the ability to pay for any eligible healthcare costs post-retirement. So it could be a copay, it could be a prescription, it could still be a healthcare premium, but there's a little more flexibility in how that plan is structured. And both of these plans are managed by our nationwide vendor, who also does our 457 plans. So with that context, one of the new benefits that we're providing is employer contributions to universal accounts by rank. So you'll see here, starting with the new contract year, firefighters would receive a $55 per pay period contribution to a universal account, engineers $65, and captains $75. Section 8.11, non-hazardous duty for pregnancy. This section has existed for some time in the MOU. Really, the only change here is formalizing the process. So a lot of times, if a pregnancy-related light duty assignment or something like that happens in the middle of a pay period and they're on a 56-hour schedule and now they're transitioning to a 40-hour schedule, there's a lot of ambiguity that happens in there, and we're just providing some language to clarify what that process is going to look like and how that individual could be expected to receive pay and how they'll be aligned as far as moving into that light duty assignment. Section 8.12, holiday pay. So we're revising language to provide holiday differential pay based on actual hours worked, because currently the language indicates that regardless of how many hours worked on that holiday, the member would be entitled to a minimum of 12 hours of pay. So we really felt collectively that it really should be based upon the time actually worked on that holiday, and that's going to dictate how many hours of holiday differential pay the member would be eligible for. Additionally, we're clarifying that 40-hour members who work a 56-hour shift will receive holiday differential pay at their 56-hour rate. So if we have somebody who's assigned a 40-hour assignment during a normal work week, but they pick up a overtime shift on a 56-hour schedule, and they happen to work on a holiday, that holiday pay or that holiday differential pay is going to be based upon their 56-hour rate, based on the shift work that they're doing. And then lastly, providing an annual allocation of 33.6 personal leave hours to the vacation bank, regardless of shift, 56 or 40-hour assignment. Again, this is administratively something that currently not that we struggle with, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes when determining someone's a 56 or a 40-hour firefighter. So just making it consistent just really kind of helps and adds clarity to the overall process. This one is a significant one. So jointly, Avondale and APFFA recognize the serious impact of occupational cancer on firefighters and is committed to supporting the health, treatment, and recovery when one may be diagnosed with an occupational cancer. So in addition to the benefits provided under Arizona law, the city agrees to provide additional paid leave to eligible unit members diagnosed with a presumptive cancer who do not qualify for coverage as an occupational disease under state law. So the new benefit we're proposing is providing up to 26 weeks of paid leave for eligible firefighters diagnosed with presumptive cancer who are not covered by workers' compensation with accrual eligibility and premium pay protections. The primary decider or what really comes into play here is Currently, state law indicates after 5 years is kind of when that tipping point is. If they are diagnosed with a presumptive cancer, they would be covered as a workers' comp claim. But anything before that would not be an automatic presumptive. They would still have to go and petition to the Industrial Commission that it was contracted on the job. What this does is the city is essentially indicating, if we have a firefighter who's worked at least 12 months, and they're under that 5-year time frame, if they've contracted a presumptive cancer, that they would be eligible for this leave to really support their the health treatment and recovery of that associated cancer. Section 9.1, fitness examinations. Last contract cycle, a one-time $5,000 universal PEP contribution at retirement for post-employment medical and fitness exam that was approved, but it was to sunset at the end of this contract. So we're just proposing to make it an ongoing benefit in the future for any retirees. And lastly, productivity pay. So we updated the longevity-based productivity pay tiers and established universal PEP contributions for eligible service milestones. So when we were evaluating productivity or longevity pay against some of our comparators, we saw that we were lagging, so we restructured what our current productivity pay tiers are, and we also added a portion of that contribution going into the universal PEP plan. Again, all of these contributions over to the PEP plan really support that post-retirement time frame, so helping to support healthcare, any of those needs that may exist beyond their career here within Avondale. So you can see, so for 0 to 10 years, we have our public safety retention program that employees would be eligible for, so that exists in city policy separate from the MOU. And then you can see the different tiers there. So for those payouts, based on the years of service, what I have in the parentheses there, so $1,750 would be paid to the individual at the end of the calendar year, and then that $250 portion would be allocated into their universal PEP account. So each one of those would, based on the years of service, that's what they would be receiving as part of that productivity pay tier. And then we have representation rights. So this looks very familiar from the presentation I believe I did last council meeting. So essentially, any of the changes that were recently approved by council, the amendments to Chapter 18, this just helps reinforce some of those rights in the MOU at a high level and really deferring over to Chapter 18 for the specifics. But again, representation during an administrative investigation interview, reasonable notice prior to the interview, the ability to consult with the representatives during the interview, and the ability for a principal to make a closing statement at the end of the investigative interview process. So summarizing everything this evening, the estimated budget impact would be included in the FY 2027 annual budget and is approximately $925,000 of ongoing dollars. And at this time, our recommendation is to approve the MOU between the City of Avondale and APFFA, which would be effective July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2028, and authorize the mayor, city manager, city attorney, and city clerk to execute the necessary documents. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Actually, mind if I
No, absolutely. Go ahead, go for it, Kaylin.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. I'm speaking on behalf of our board, but I first would like to thank our members. They're always sitting in the back. There's a bunch of them here tonight, but you'll always see them in the back. It's been a privilege to represent firefighter interest, and this contract is an extension of that. Our union stands for 4 major priorities: pay, benefits, working conditions, and fair and equal treatment for all members. With this contract, I feel like we've moved the needle with all those priorities. Andy's presentation was concise and succinct, but as he mentioned, this was months of work prior to entering the negotiating room, and then months of negotiating and meeting after meeting before and after each Wednesday. So it was a lot of work, but our plan was intentional and collaborative with all those members sitting back there. We wanted to make sure we wanted to ensure that we advocated for the things that are most important to the highest number of our members, and I think we accomplished that. I'd like to take a minute to say thanks to the team. This is our second contract cycle with Andy at the head of the city's team. We can't thank him enough for his professionalism, his collaboration, Tracy doesn't look like she's here tonight, but she was a great asset to that team. We want to thank her for all of her hard work and support. Renee and Justin, both sitting up here in the front row supporting us, and Jeff Sheets as well. And Torrin, I didn't put that in here, but he's a very important part of the team. And then on my side, we've got Eric Folger, who's our lead negotiator. And I know some of you in council know, but we had a change in our union leadership 3 days prior to our first negotiating day. So although this plan was enacted long before, we had a last-minute switch up. Eric remained our lead negotiator and did an amazing job. He's a fierce advocate for our people. We got Brendan Weiss, Jen Bessie, who stepped up last minute as well, and then Brant Arnold, who's not here. He had a family illness. I want to thank the city manager's office for all their support, and then lastly, I want to thank council for their support. This contract will allow us to recruit and retain the best firefighters in the valley. That's it.
Thank you both. Appreciate it. Yeah, let's give a round of applause. All involved. This time I'm going to turn it over to council before I say my words. So are there any members? Councilmember White?
Thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you so much, Colin. Thank you, Andy. I was just taking a look at 8.8. I don't understand, and I want to make sure I have that clarified. With the deferred compensation plan, I guess, is it the sliding scale if the person chooses to contribute greater than $50? Is it a match, or is it just flat out? It's either 50, going to go to 100. I want that clarification.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilmember White. So, in order to, it'll be a flat $100. So, in order to receive that, they have to contribute at least 50 in order to receive the 100.
Okay, and then of course. I guess then the next item that I was taking a look at was 8.13. Does this require that they have to go to the industrial commission and file a claim, or can we skip the claim portion of this to give them that? I don't know that detail. Can you tell me that?
Yes. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilmember White. So we would encourage, and part of the requirement is that they would submit a claim to the Industrial Commission, because it could still receive approval if there was enough documentation and there was an approval of a workers' comp claim. We have written in there, in the event that it is approved, then the presumptive cancer leave would stop at that time, and they would transition over and be covered by workers' compensation.
So I guess the only cause for pause here, I'm not sure how many of you have ever dealt with the Industrial Commission of Arizona for workers' comp injury, but I think that cancer's pretty awful diagnosis for anybody who needs to go through the treatment phase, and a lot of our families here are able to. One, I'm happy most of our firefighters can support their whole family. They're the only person who has to work, and with their variable schedule, we want to keep it that way. We want them to be able to know somebody's always at home for them. So when they are ill, then the primary caregiver of the household that they're not serving when they're here serving us, they now turn into the caregiver for our firefighter. And I think getting a lot of the documentation that's required by the Industrial Commission, I hope that maybe in another iteration that we consider they don't have to file that claim first, because if you get a cancer diagnosis and you're just trying to battle cancer, I hate that you have to go through the Industrial Commission, potentially get a denial, and then, we'll help you out. That seems I just don't like it, so I'm just going to say that flat out. That's a problem for me, because, we're now asking caregivers to chase paperwork when somebody's possibly dying of cancer. That's just crazy. So that's my feelings on that, and I believe if you can go forward 2 more slides.
Mr. Mayor, we've got a couple to be able to explain that. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, sorry, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilmember White. I may have misspoke. They would be eligible for the leave upon diagnosis. So they're receiving that leave, and they can, in tandem with that, apply for or file the workers' comp claim. But they're going to get this leave in the meantime. So it's not contingent on them getting a denial for this to open or to be available. In the event that it gets approved, then they wouldn't have 2 paths of being paid leave and also getting workers' comp pay. So that's where we would stop this, but ensure that they're getting the workers' comp. So I want to make sure I clarified that.
Then, Mayor, thank you. That's the clarification I needed to make sure I understood. Mayor, then I guess my next question would be...
Oh, so, Ron, Ron's got his hand up.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I apologize. I just want to give an example. It's very important that they apply. We recently had a case that originally did not qualify, but then was accepted and got the better benefit under workers' comp. So that's why we encourage them to go through the process. For us, it wouldn't matter, but for the employee, for the firefighter, if they can get it accepted, if we can help them get through the process and get it accepted, then we do help them, and it gets accepted, it's much better in the long run. So we recently had a case where it did get approved, even though it didn't meet state law as automatic.
Councilman White?
Mayor, I was thinking that is exactly what city manager said. They do have better benefits if our person does apply for that and they get the benefits paid. Are we going to hold them to giving back the money that we've given them in advance, because now they would get that kind of duplicate pay? How does that work, sir? Because again, the family might have spent that money in the interim until the claim got approved through the Industrial Commission.
I see Ron shaking his head, but Andy?
Yeah, so Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilmember White, typically what would happen today, just to kind of give an example, we have some instances where someone may be using their own health care to cover any associated costs, and then subsequently there's a workers' comp claim that gets approved that dates back to the beginning of when those health costs were incurred on the other side. So we work with the employee to reconcile all of that, but we wouldn't get into a situation where we're taking away, especially in this sort of scenario where an individual would be put in a compromising position with not having pay or anything like that to be able to recoup. So we'd work through that with them.
Thank you.
And I think if we can go forward 2 more slides, please, Mayor. I just want to make sure thank you. The representation, rights, and discipline. So this is just a direct refer back to what we went over during the last meeting. Has any, was this closing statement included in the prior version of the agreement, Andy?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilmember White. I'm sorry, a prior version of the MOU or the Chapter 18?
The MOU.
No, this section right here is new for the MOU. So it's new information in here that correlates over with Chapter 18.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you so much, Andy. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you, Councilmember White. Any other Councilmember Solorio?
Thank you all for being here tonight. This is great. I'm especially happy about 813 because 813 is compassion for those who do fall in that category. For people that do so much for our community, I feel it's the least we can do in return if that is something that they have to go through. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here, because I'm sure you've had a long day and some of you have kids with you. We are so privileged to work with such great people like the fire department here. I truly feel honored. I know each one of us does, those that serve nationally. Max has heard me quite a bit talk about what a great organization and the things that you guys do outside of the fire department. So thank you to each and every one of you.
Thank you. Any other Councilmember Condi?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. I do just want to just extend my heartfelt thanks to you all, the firefighters, but not just the firefighters, but your families. You know, while you guys are out working hard, your families are there taking care of the kids and the home. So thank you for the families for letting us use your husbands or wives to take care of our residents of our city. And just know that you guys are all valued and appreciated. Thank you.
Councilmember Garcia?
I'm just happy you guys have the babies here because they entertained me all day. So I appreciate the little ones. And I just want to say thank you to all of you. As you know, I love all first responders. You guys don't get paid enough for everything you do and for saving lives, and that's what you guys do to our community. So to the families, thank you for supporting them in everything that they do. We wouldn't have such a wonderful community here in Avondale if it wasn't for our first responders and for our firefighters. You guys are everywhere I go. I see your truck. I see you guys with the community. You guys deserve this. You guys deserve more, to be honest with you. But I'm glad to vote yes on this, and I hope that, we continue to get wonderful firefighters in Avondale and that we keep the ones that are here. So thank you guys for everything.
Thank you, Councilmember Garcia. And I'll just wrap it up. There's nobody else. A lot's already been said, and I want to keep the families here much longer. But I'm just happy that you were able to negotiate, come to an agreement on what mattered. And I know that on both sides, the best interest is what was being sought after. And more importantly, as has been communicated through all the other many other council members, is just the fact that it's not just the firefighters who serve our community that benefit from much of these negotiations, but it is the family. And it's hard not to look back and see kids being rocked and comforted, as they sit here in this, what I would assume they consider to be a boring meeting, but the impact that is felt as a result of this meeting goes long, far into their lives. And what you all do, public safety does for us, that's why it's so important, I believe, and I'm speaking for all of us at this moment, and if you disagree, let me know, but just how important public safety is to us, all departments, but what you do in the community, how you go above and beyond, and to make sure that we are competitive and that you are being taken care of. And I know it's not, as Councilmember Garcia said, it's maybe not enough, but it's what we can do at this moment in time to make sure that not only we get the best, but retain the best. It's all about retention a lot of the time. And so we hope that you find a home here. I know every time I visit, Kaylin, you and I have had many conversations where we talk about the fact that you guys are a micro family of sorts, but more importantly, that you care about the community. And I've observed it, I've witnessed it, I see it, I hear it. You got community members here who are still listening to this, who agree with me, I'm sure. And just to see that we can come to an agreement here is satisfying. But I know that that there's more in store, not only for the Department of Public Safety, but that we can do in the future. And so I look forward to those, learning more about those negotiations, but more importantly, being an employer of choice. So thank you for what you do, Kaylin, for the rest of the team here, all public safety, all firefighters and family in attendance, and little ones. We're almost done. But thank you again for what you guys do for the community. We really appreciate it.
I think they deserve ice cream.
I think that was on the record too. So, so thank you, Andy, Kaylin. Thank you for everything. And can we get one more round of applause for this long process and for the team? And as I just mentioned, and of course, our leadership team as well. And I'm sorry to see that Tracy was not here to see the fruits of the labor, but have a good night and be safe, everybody. We appreciate it. Okay. Oh, wait, we got to vote first. All right. So can we get a motion on item 5B? Got a motion from Councilmember Garcia, a second from Councilmember Solorio. Can we all vote? Item passes 7-0. Congratulations. Okay, item 6, summary of current events. Councilmember Solorio.
I just want to share, as many of you know, I was appointed to the National League board. I have been given my assignment for the next 2 years. I will work in membership and recruitment, so recruiting other cities and states to be involved. I've also been appointed to the Military Communities Council, so I will start that in the year, and also appointed as a liaison between the National League of Cities board to the Hispanic local elected officials.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? If not, okay, Councilmember White.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I had the opportunity to attend the Arizona MLK Day celebration weekend. Last weekend, they kicked it off with the breakfast on the Friday. Got to be there as a guest. Valley Metro was a sponsor, and see some wonderful awards. A lot of youth are engaged in winning awards in the community. So I kind of joined the parade because I know when I used to work down at downtown, it would always be pretty close to the bank, and so I wanted to participate in the parade. And I just kind of threw on some clothes, drug my kids out the house, and we figured we'll go walk. And at some point, the leadership of the event brought me to the front as a torchbearer. And so I just wanted to thank the state, the IOC, the city of Phoenix, and all of the hosts of that event. And then I also had the opportunity to attend Parks and Rec's Mercados and Melodies this past Friday night, and the Krause brothers, they knocked it out the park. It was an amazing event. It started off with a little bit of rain, but for those people who like some good bluegrass, a little bit of gospel twang and jazz, they were able to add that fusion and really kept our amphitheater alive. So I just wanted to salute our Parks and Recs team for the hard work that they did. I feel like every time we have Melodies and Mercados, it rains. So we are now going to be hosting Melodies and Mercados to have rain come to Avondale. So I just want to congratulate them for being the rainmakers, and I think rain is such a cleansing aspect, and I hope that we can continue to do that here because it adds such a beauty to our community, and it was an amazing event. And one thing I did notice is that we had quite a lot of vendors out. We also had, I just want to make sure that we have proper lighting in all of the spaces. I know where the porta potties and public, the free speech zone, it seemed just a little bit dark for me to be out in that space, so I wasn't there and wasn't very comfortable being over there, and want to make sure if people have issues or want to be able to engage as potential candidates are expressing interest, they're not by the toilets.
Vice Mayor Nilsen?
I'd just like to say thank you to Parks and Recs and all those that were involved with Melodies and Mercados on Friday night. I was out earlier that day at 4 o'clock doing food boxes, and it was pouring down. I don't know how you arranged for the minimalization of the rain that evening, but thank you for that as well. It was very well turned out. That's the second one I've been to. The first one with the kids was really great. This one is really good. So you've now got a third one. You've got to have to work even to make better than the other two. So that's your challenge, and the gauntlet thrown at you there, Corey and Parks. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Seeing nothing else or no other items, if we can, actually, no. At this moment in time, we need to adjourn into executive session. Can I get a vote? Got a motion for Councilmember Garcia, second from Councilmember White. Please vote. Okay, item passes. We are adjourned to executive session. Please, everybody else in the audience, drive home safe. We'll see you at the next meeting, and thank you for being here tonight. Have a good one.
And for those who are listening online, City Council will not be returning to the council chamber. Thank you.